So far today I've gotten through an episode of SciShow Kids. I now have to go get a haircut because, as you can see, this is kind of long. And then after that I've got an episode of Crash Course Kids to finish up, and then hopefully I can spend the rest of the day working on vlog stuff. I might try to go to the gym or something, but the vlogs, they need attention. Right, cat? Right. So I got my hair cut, obviously, and then I got some not so great news from my tax lady. Taxes were supposed to be due in April, but we filed for some kind of extension so that we had more time to figure out my tax situation, because it's really complicated with me working for EcoGeek and then making money through merch sales and music sales, and through Patreon, or last year was Subbable. We finally got all of the documentation that we needed, and she ran the numbers, and it looks like I'm going to owe in the neighborhood of $20,000. I don't have $20,000 laying around, so I don't know. I'll probably have to go to a bank and see if they'll give me a loan to cover that. It's very strange because on paper it looks like, I mean, I guess technically I made $110,000 last year in 2014, but I don't feel like I made $110,000. I know that a significant portion of that went to finally paying off my student loans from film school. Some of that went to paying for people to provide business services for me. Actually, a good portion of that went to paying for 2013's taxes as well. I had this idea that, like, if you're making six figures, that you're living a pretty lavish lifestyle, and I don't know, it seems weird to me that I made $110,000 last year and I've got less than $1,000 in my checking account right now. But anyway, that bummed me out, and aside from that, I've just been kind of bummed out on work lately, because I really want to be able to focus on making stuff just for me, like my own creative endeavors. So I've been thinking about trying to transition away from working for Hank as much as I do. However, the fact that I now need to pay $20,000 in taxes means that I probably can't leave that job, because I would take a significant pay cut if I left the job at EcoGeek. This also brings up the question of should I go back to school next semester? It's gonna cost me, $4,000 or $5,000 in tuition, which I don't really have, especially now that I need to pay all this money. And school is going to take up time that I could be using to make money. On the other hand, I really enjoyed the experience of going back to school. As stressful as it was, I feel like I accomplished something, and I really like learning things that I didn't know before. Some of you may have noticed on Twitter the other day I said something about wanting to sell all my things and just travel around the United States. And that's sort of it's an impulse that I've had for many, many years. The older you get, the more baggage you acquire that makes it more difficult for you to just up and travel whenever you want, or it makes you less nimble in life. Not that that's totally a bad thing. Certainly there's something appealing about the idea of settling down and having a family, to me at least. Anyway, that impulse to just up and travel has been growing stronger in me again, but that also seems like I don't think I can do that with this giant tax debt on me. I don't know. I don't even really know if I have a point to talking about all this. It just kind of feels cathartic to talk about it, I suppose. I'm in some kind of weird place where I don't know what I'm doing with my life. As you guys know, I already have a hard time finding the time, prioritizing my time in a way that allows me to be as productive as I want to be. Virtually all of the projects that I work on end up suffering because there are just too many of them going on at the same time. I have a problem figuring out how to simplify, and now sitting here, I don't know. I just don't know what to do. I don't know where to focus. You guys have been more or less understanding of this giant 50-day backlog of videos that I've got going on, but still it stresses me out. It makes me sad that that is the case, and that it's really, really difficult to get caught up. It's really, really difficult to even just stay on top of it. Logan and I were talking the other day about how I had expected that hiring an editor would be this like great epiphanous moment where all of a sudden everything just worked so much better, but I actually don't feel like we are much further ahead. We might, like, in terms of the vlog at least, we're further behind. Part of that is that I saw the bringing on of an editor as an excuse to try to up the production quality again, which is another problem that I have. Everything that I work on, I'm like, how can I make this as good as I possibly can? How can I push everything to the max? For those of you who are familiar with computer development, the feature creep is real. Again, I don't know if I have a point to any of this. I'm feeling bummed out, and I don't know what to do with my life. I hope in the next few days I can climb out of this pit and figure out what I'm doing.